During topical questions today, Tory MP Graham Stewart made an absolute fool of himself and got laughed at in the chamber. About 5 minutes earlier, Home Secretary Yvette Cooper had answered a question on fraud and how it counts up to around about 39% of total crime and what they're going to do to tackle it. Graham Stewart then stands up, trying to make the Tories sound better than they actually are, and says crime actually fell under the last Conservative government, if you ignored the fraud. It amazes me how they can go around saying stuff like that with a straight face. It's almost claiming like you arrived at work on time. I mean, obviously, if you ignore the red lights that you've sped through and the 2 pedestrians you've run over. I mean, it's madness. I get that you haven't got a great track record, but come on, don't try to pull the wool over people's eyes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Fraud accounts for 39% of all crime survey England and Wales crime and was the most common type of crime in the year ending March 2024. It is a crime that destroys lives, and we are committed to working with law enforcement and industry to better protect the public and businesses from the fraud threats they face.
Bill Brittle.
39% of all reported crime is fraud, and many offences are carried out by serious organised crime gangs. The National Crime Agency is tasked with protecting my constituents from foreign origin fraud and serious organised crime. But a recent report from Spotlight on corruption found that after 14 years of Conservative government, the NCA was, and I quote, on its knees, spending millions of pounds on consultants and failing to retain investigators. What steps is the Minister taking to make sure that the NCA is able to protect my constituents from financial crime?
Well, let me take the opportunity to pay tribute to the NCA for their operational leadership and focus on tackling economic crime. Through collaborating with jurisdictions of risk, we are making it harder for organised crime groups to target the UK victims. The National Fraud Squad, run by the NCA's National Economic Crime Centre and the City of London Police, with 400 new officers by next year, has boosted their ability to tackle the highest harm international offenders. We are working to deliver a workforce strategy to address retention challenges for fraud. This is important work which impacts on all our constituents, and it is a priority area for this government.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under the last Conservative government, excluding fraud and computer misuse, crime actually fell by 50%. And I'm pleased to say that in Beverley and Holderness across the rest of the country, it was community groups, local people and the police working together who helped do that. And in the Cherry Tree Centre, working with local community, saw antisocial behaviour in the St Nicholas area of Beverley reduced by 43% year on year by last summer. What will the Secretary of State do to ensure this kind of community cooperation leads to further cuts in crime, which was so welcome under the Conservatives?
Well, I would caution the honourable member against excluding, obviously, one of the most common crimes in the country from his figures. I would just also point out to him that it is some of the crimes that are actually most heavily impact on town centres at the very heart of local communities, like shoplifting and street crime, street theft, which have soared in recent years, and there has been no response at all from the previous government. We are making those a priority as part of our plans to change some of the laws around shoplifting and assaults on shop workers, as well as getting more police back on the beat.
It's almost like the Tories haven't got a clue, and yet they spent 14 years in government. Because in this video, you can see the Speaker getting rather upset with Victoria Actons. Thanks for watching, don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.